Hello and welcome back to another Cupcaker66 video. I'm your host, Cupcaker66, and today I forced my friends to go through a Pride Month themed escape room. Hooray! There were some very, very intense levels of parkour, archery, guessing the door, which is, as you all know, the most intense of any game, a death maze, a dark maze, and finding the button. This took a long time to build and to coordinate to where I could record this because I have very, very stubborn friends. And yes, I would very much appreciate it if you would like and subscribe for more content similar to this and not similar to this. Just content. Like and subscribe for content, you know? Shockingly enough, most of my viewers are subscribed, but for the very, very, very small percentage of you that aren't, please at least consider liking and subscribing. Hope you enjoy. Let's get into this. And we start off with Doggo15 making his way into the maze. He does not know which way to go, but he eventually finds the correct path. He goes up the water elevator, whoosh whoosh bubble bubble, turns around and tries to go into the parkour zone. He cannot make the first hard jump. He still cannot make the first hard jump. Poor guy struggles with some basic jumps for quite some time. And then he makes it. And then he makes it again, and then he makes it again. And then he does pretty good, actually. He does pretty good. And then he takes the wrong path because he's a rebel, And then he takes it the correct way, because he's a good boy now. He goes down the little jumpy area, because that's where you gotta go, you know? And he takes his bow and arrow. Pew, pew, pew. The door opens. He goes in, sets his spawn point, and then proceeds to attempt the guess the door, the most intense of puzzles. And then the man goes and decides that he's gonna try the right door again. And then he decides he's gonna try the right door again because the painting kept obstructing itself. And then he decides the right door again because he's figured out my stupidity. He sees the death maze and approaches the death maze with curiosity of what may happen next, not knowing that it's a death maze. He stupidly tries to reason with me, but he cannot. He cannot reason with me. He tries to get me to tell him the path. And then he dies. I wait for him to go through the whole thingy again, and he tries with this for quite some time, actually. I think this was the longest. This is what took him the longest. So he eventually manages to jump through the entire death maze because he's a hacker. Cancel him, please. Doggo15 is a hacker. Cancel the man. Cancel the hacker. He gets into the dark maze after hacking through my puzzles. He wasn't very good at that. He was not very good at that at all, actually. But then he decided, okay, I'm gonna get good at life. Onto the find the button, which he, for some reason, ran back out of the find the button room. Honestly, he didn't even explain why he did it afterwards. But we have him literally pushing every single button in the room, except for the one he was supposed to push, because he's a big brain. He just walks by it, and then I yell at him, and he pushes it, making his time 4 minutes and 52 seconds. Very impressive, actually. And Virtual Boy Gaming starts off with the maze, goes completely the full wrong way, and then goes the right way. This was the easiest maze I've ever built. He goes up the little water chute, bubble, 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 turns around, and parkour. Oh, there was some sand there. Shouldn't have been there, but... And there was an Enderman in there. It was really chaotic for some reason, so I relit the whole thing afterwards. Anyway, he did pretty well in the parkour, actually. He did it the way he was supposed to, and it didn't take him too much time, although he did have a little eye contact. Just kidding, he fell. And then I struggled with English for quite some time. And then I had to kill the Enderman that was there, but then he teleported away, so I didn't have to kill him. And this whole time, Ian had been trying to parkour. Which, you know, not too bad. He didn't do too bad after his one little incident, honestly. He got through the whole parkour pretty well. You know, he did the jumpy jump. Just kidding, he fell again! Keep leading y'all on. Feels good. He jumpy for quite a while. Quite a while. Probably too much time, if you ask me. It was such an excessive amount of time that I've sped it up for you. Very drastically. Because I don't want you to suffer in the way that I did. And so, he finished the parkour, and then he ran to the archery section, in which I forgot to put arrows, so I put in some more arrows, went back into spectator mode. He missed a button, which, not quite sure how you managed to miss a button that's that obvious, but, you know. He shot the rest of them, went through the door, and then decided to do my Guess the Door, the most intense of any level game, and then he died. And then he went, and then he killed the painting because he's an idiot. Then he fixed the painting because he's not that big of an idiot. Yeah, he did fix the painting. Okay, yeah. And then he got it wrong again, because he didn't realize that once he goes through there, he's trapped for life. So then he died and went back to the beginning, in which I burst out into hysterics because, geez, the guy got it wrong 2 times in a row. I couldn't find him, actually. I did lose him in spectator mode. And then he went through a few times, got lost in his head. And you'll never guess what he did. You'll never guess. He died. Just the ultimate big brain move. He died. This literally, everything took him so long. It was kind of saddening, honestly. So he kinda... Oh yeah, there was a weird glitch in the Matrix that caused him to fall out of the world anonymously. So, and then he broke the painting. But he got it right, then he died. He couldn't even handle the thought of the death maze, he just died instantly. So, this took him quite a while, so much so that I'm probably gonna speed through it again because nothing interesting happened. It's just him dying at an alarming rate. And then he finally managed to jump through because, you know, somewhere in there he does have a brain. Got into the dark maze. Impressive! He went the wrong way. Went the full wrong way. Continued to go the wrong way. Thought it wasn't a wall. And then decided to go the right way. And then he realized that that wasn't a wall. And then he didn't know which way to go, which that's how mazes work sometimes, you know, you can't just be like, yes, all right. And then he got it correct. Played a little of the old find the button, if you will. And got it correct on the first try. Because, you know, he does have a big brain. Ish, I guess. if you believe hard enough, he has a big brain. And yeah, that brought his time to 6 minutes and 35 seconds, which is pretty horrible, honestly. Not to be very rude, but that's just absolute garbage. And then I punched him for a little bit because you gotta bully some people, you know? I'm joking, don't bully people. Please don't bully people. Bullying is bad. And then I was fixing to ask him a question and he left. And Ducky walks into the maze. They go the wrong way. And they decide that's not the right way. I put myself back in spectator mode as they finish off. Well, they go back to the beginning, but then they decide, okay, you know what, maybe we should make a little bit of progression in this so I can have some good content. They go up the bubble thing, PvP bubble, bubble, bubble. They turn around and enter the parkour zone. Poor Ducky. Their parkour skills are actually pretty good. I think I just made the jumps too difficult overall. Like, just in general. They kept struggling with, obviously, the hardest jump. That's the hardest jump. That's easily the hardest jump. And they kept forgetting to hit the spacebar. That's like one of the only things that I remember about the parkour, was that they kept forgetting to hit the spacebar. They kept walking off the edge. It was relatively sad, so I sped it up for you, because you don't want to watch someone jump off without hitting spacebar and walk off the edge like 80 times, do you? I don't think anyone wants to watch that. So they finally got to the end, and they stopped for a minute, because they didn't think they were gonna make it. I didn't think they were gonna make it. Sorry, Ducky. Love you. And they went to the archery area, got their bow and arrow, and did pretty well, actually, on the archery. Good job. Applause. Clap, clap. They didn't get the third one. They didn't realize how easy the archery thing was. They reset their spawn point, and they tried to use the weighted pressure plate. It didn't really work. They kind of stood there and questioned whether or not to go in. And they finally decided, okay, I'm gonna go in. Then they died, because the Ducky way. So then they went the right way, because the painting obstructed itself, per usual. Just, you know, that's how that works. That's how that works, you know? Painting obstructed itself, then they died again, because, big brain, ultimate big brain. And then they finally managed to get all the way through to the death maze. They didn't do too terrible on the death maze, actually. They did pretty good on the death maze. Don't mind that. They did really good on the death maze. They died quite a few times, but nowhere near as... They didn't die anywhere near as many times as Doggo15 or Virtual Boy did, which is, you know, really, really impressive. Good job. Clap, clap. Take the clap, clap. They figured out, oh, there's I just gotta walk. I don't think they jumped any of it, actually. Maybe, did they? I don't think they jumped the end. But, like, they died, yes. That's just how death mazes work. You die, you know? It's like life. You die. They walked. They walked. And then they died. 'Cause, you know, it's life, you die. Sometimes you live, sometimes you die. I had to check the path. I was like, wait, how close were they to not dying? And then they used their brain, and they got into the dark maze, because it's a dark maze, you know? And they were actually really good at the dark maze too. I think I like chose the perfect person to do the third one, because they did good on everything except the parkour that I had to speed up. And then they pulled a Doggo15 and pushed every button in existence. Pushed the button they were supposed to push, didn't believe me when I said that that was the button they needed to push, But yeah, they did pretty good, making their time come out at 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Good job, Ducky.